Hi, this is just a video tutorial on how to create IAM user account in your AWS, either your free tier or paid account. And default login is root user, but you don't want to do that in the daily activities. So here's what you can do. First, you first need to log in into the root user. So once you log in to the root user, you are asked to MFA. So since I have enabled the MFA and it asks, is common between users and then root users and IAM users. So you still need this account number and then to log in as the IAM user later. So security credential, check it out and make sure you enable MFA. If you haven't enabled MFA, you should do that. And then MFA is pretty simple, and you need to install the authenticator, and Google Authenticator is pretty common, and you can do that and make sure you enable. And once you enable, and then you're forced to log in with the MFA. And the second thing you want to do is check my account. Is IAM user and the role access to the billing information, and default is only the root user can access the billing information. But if you do the daily activities is by using the IAM user account, you also want to see the billing information through the IAM user. So, and it's fairly simple. You click in here and then check activate IAM access, then update, and that's the way. And the IAM user can see the in IAM. First thing you want to do is policies. So you need to create the policy. In my case, ForceMFA is the policy already added. You can add a policy and you can name whatever you want, but the contents of the JSON is in the Github, and you can copy paste. Basically what this policy does is, and if IAM user is not logging in with MFA, and then IAM user is permitted to the read only, and which means IAM user cannot create instances, cannot create security groups, so pretty much nothing they can do. So this is the way that the forcing the MFA for the IAM users. So once a policy is created, the next step is you create the user group, and then I name as admin. So you click on the create group, and then you can name whatever you want, but the contents of the admin user is basically the permissions. So when you create the group, and then you attach the two permissions. One is administrator access. This gives equivalent permission level as a root user. So this is the way then IAM user can create any instances and then any resource, and pretty much you can do everything what root user can do. And plus ForceMFA, and then this policy is forcing the IAM user to use MFA, like I already mentioned. So once this admin group or whatever you name and the group is created, next step is you create the user. So go to the user. I already created my initial CAHN as a IAM user, but you can create add user, and you can name whatever you want. Then make sure you click both of them, programmatic access, which is basically later use Terraform or the AWS CLI or the kubectl and the EKSCTL, whatever the programmatic access is allowed. So make sure those two are clicked. And username is maybe test user. And then you can create the custom password in here, and probably you don't want to check this one. Then once this is done, satisfy whatever password criteria, then you can go to the next permissions. In the permissions, now you have opportunity to add user group. So in this case, we already created admin as a user group. You click on it, and that's the way. Next is tagging, and then tagging is optional, so you can add. So since I already have created my own user, I'm gonna cancel in here. So that's pretty much what it should be. So here's the thing, and then once the user is created, then I'm gonna go to the user again, and then there's a security credential. There's one-time opportunity. You're gonna see this access key ID, and then also the access secret. So make sure you copy key ID and then secret somewhere, and then which is going to be used in the next step. So the goal is we're going to use the AWS Vault and for the MFA login later on. So now I'm going to sign out. So this is the time I sign in by using IAM user. So you see that the root user, but I'm going to sign in the IAM user because IAM user I already created. So once you sign, and you have choices root user, IAM user. And also the account number I mentioned. So this account number is common through the root user and then any IAM user you create. So IAM username and password you set. Again as my IAM user CAHN. So you can see then access key. Basically you can create the access key and then secret again. And if you didn't write in the previous step. And then here's the thing, and manage an MFA. So make sure you enable MFA device. So once you enable the MFA device, and then setting MFA device is pretty straightforward by using the Google Authenticator or similar MFA device, and then you can sync two first keys and then the enable MFA login, and that's fairly simple. And then once you get everything's done, and you can log out and then try and then see if MFA works fine. And the next step is by using the AWS Vault. So the key and then key ID and then secret, and either you store in the .aws config file and in your machine, but which is not really safe. So AWS Vault is basically then helps you to store those credentials in the secret place. Then for Mac, and then there's the Mac then password vault is used, and then Windows there's something similar. And make sure that those secret ID and the secrets are not exposed to outside of the world. That's basically the reason, and we use AWS Vault. Plus it allows to use MFA device, and so that's the way. And then also you can make a multi-factor authentication is enabled through the programmatic access by using CLI command. And that's about it. And then I'm gonna sign out, and then let's see. And part 2 is how to set up the AWS Vault. Thank you.